trigger warning. The thug life chose me.
And Dan is in Bridgewater, New Jersey. Hi, Dan.
Hi. I was raised under communism and then came here. Invariably, I joined Young Americans for Freedom, became an officer in there, and was in the 60s at Berkeley during the student uprising there. And the left, I'm very familiar with the left, and because of my political activities, I'm very familiar with the right. And I have to point out to you that your problem is the same as that of the left. You speak the same way by inventing the other person, by attributing motives and interests and ideas and everything to the other person to suit yourself. For example, the president of the Anti-Defamation League was saying that Christians are anti-Semitic because they are jealous of the Jews being God's chosen people. Now, he could just say that. That could be his opinion, but he publishes that in the name of an organization he calls the Anti-Defamation League. And in the same way, much as you guys are pushing these images of the other side, exactly the way the communists used to do. I mean, under Stalinism, it was exactly the same. That's why there's no more meaningful dialogue. At Berkeley, we had a meaningful dialogue between the left and the right in the 1960s, and it only deteriorated because students became attracted to other things. But you're not advancing a culture in America of understanding complexity, of understanding the in-depth matters. If you were a physician right now, you would be a criminal. But if you really understood the depth and the need for dialogue between all sides, you wouldn't be speaking like a leftist, which is exactly
Dan,
what you're
I
doing.
think we got the point. Let's get an answer from author Ben Shapiro.
Well, as far as the idea that Berkeley was a wellspring of democratic debate back in the 1960s, I would say the hell you did. I mean, the idea that there was a tremendous debate between left and right in Berkeley in the 1960s is nonsense. It was taken over by the left in its entirety to the point that Governor Reagan had to send tanks in. They took over student buildings. They used what would essentially be quote-unquote terrorist methods in order to take over government buildings, and then they were expelled by force. The idea that this was some sort of democratic uprising, I mean, the left likes to portray the 1960s as sort of a wellspring of democracy. The truth is, it was a wellspring of criminalism, and it completely perverted the American political system in a lot of very negative ways. The idea that people have been calling each other names and been going after each other since time immemorial is certainly the case. I mean, that's true. Jefferson and Adams were going at each other tooth and nail all the way back in the election of 1800, so it's nothing new to suggest that character attacks are going on in America. I would say that they've been largely relegated to one side, and I'm not one of these folks who believes that if someone starts a fist fight and somebody else punches back, those two punches are equivalent. And I will say that responding fire with fire is not the same as starting the fire in the first place. As somebody had asked earlier about Rush Limbaugh, Ann Coulter, Bill O'Reilly, me. My answer is that I didn't start this fight. But one of the things that my father always said is never start a fight, but if somebody else starts a fight, you finish it.